we are going to discuss about the last three great qualities of the Dhamma. For the beginners who are joining for this class, I don't think it's going to be very hard catching up because these are Dhamma's great qualities, Swakkatu, Sandittiku, Akaliku, and we done that part last Monday. And today we are going to do Ehipassiko, Opanaiku, Pachattang Veditapu. What is Ehipassiko? What is Opanaiku? What is Pachattang Veditapu? We merely chant these ones. So why are we going to discuss these things? It is because in a sutta called Dhajjha Sutta, which we are studying last couple of weeks, mentioned something about this Dhamma's great qualities before we discuss Buddha's great qualities. I think perhaps I would discuss with you a little bit of the background. See, this is the sutta we've been studying for probably last couple of 4 to 5 maybe Mondays. In this sutta, what's happening is that it is said that there was a war between Deva and Asura. In this war, sometimes Devas win, sometimes Asuras win. Asuras were previously Devas, and they were chased out from the Tavatins due to their nature of drinking more beverages. And they became a part of the hell. You say, Narakati Rachana Peta Asura. Now, Asura kingdom is a part of a hell. But they are more powerful than Devas at times. So, now while the war is going on, Devas sometimes lose the battle to Asuras. At that point, Sakka or Indra understood this problem. So he said to his fellow Devas, in case you get scared because of the horrendous, ferocious attacks from the Asuras, you need to become moralized. So you look at the edge of, or maybe top of my flag, Sakka's flag that is mounted in his cart. So when you see that, you know that I am also in the battlefield. So you will be moralized, you will fight with the Asuras, and you will win. They were trying to do that, but sometimes it worked, sometimes it didn't work. So then Sakka said, as we can see in the sutta, Noche me dajagang ulluke. Then you can look at another Devas top of the flag. There is somebody who is second to the Sakka, who is called Pajapati. It is said that Deva Pajapati sits next to the Sakka in the Tavatins, in the assembly. So you can see the Pajapati's flag, the top of the flag. They did that too, but after some time, they also failed in that attempt, so they again got scared. Then in case, after by looking at Pajapati's flag, you get still fear and other negativities, then you can look at the, flag of another Deva. Who is that Deva? Pajapati, then Varuna Deva, you can see. Varuna is another very powerful Hindu Deva. They did that too, but after some time, they still get to fear from the Asuras. And then what happened? Then Sakka asked to look at another flag, another Deva who is normally in the battlefield. His name was Isana. And then they were sometimes okay, sometimes not okay. Then what happened? They fell into a very, practical issue in the battlefield to fight with the Asuras. Then at that point, the Buddha said to monks, Bhikkhu, Bhikkhuni community, at that point, it is very obvious why by looking at certain flags of different Devas did not help them. Because when you are scared, you should look at somebody, you should think about somebody who has no fear. And you are also going to think about someone who has the same fear How is that person going to help you out? It is like two elephants who are sunken in the mud. According to the Majjhima Nikaya Salayika Sutta. One elephant thinks, I want to help out the other elephant from the mud, but he is also stuck in the mud. It is not going to be possible. So you have to first get out of the mud. Right? It's like the Bodhisattva's attempt. Right? So Bodhisattva wanted to become the Buddha, and then he can help out other people. Right? So if there is anybody over here who is trying a lot of spiritual practices, and if other people are going to brand that person, you are such a selfish being, maybe that person might explain, no, it's for you guys, I will first enlighten and I will tell you what to do. That is the Bodhisattva's perspective. But in the Mahayana Bodhisattva concept, it's a little different. They say, I want to send everybody to Nibbana, and then finally I will be the one who will be attaining Nibbana. It's interesting. But in the Theravada school, it's not like that. I have to be the first. I don't know what about you. So it's a little bit, there are some odds in that thinking. So interesting. So there are things that we have to look at. So then the Buddha said, when you are scared, you need to think about someone who is fearless spiritually. So Sakka has raga, dosa, moha, lust, hatred and delusion. But the Buddha has no raga, no dosa, no moha. So when you think about the Buddha, when you are scared, the support comes from someone who is fearless, and you get affected by that fearless person. And you feel the oasis is over there. So that is how the sutta is flowing now at this point. And then Buddha told the monks, okay, let's say you get scared. He's telling monks. At that point, who are you going to think about? Are you going to think about Sakka? Sakka is not here. Are you going to think about Varuna, Pajapati, Isan? They are not here. So you are going to think about my great qualities. Right? Not me, my great qualities. What is Arahang? Why am I Arahang? Why am I Samma Sambuddha? We did that part a couple of weeks ago. Why am I Vijjacharana Sampanna? Why am I Sugatu? Why am I Lokavidu? So there are contextual explanations for each quality. So whenever you're scared, you have to think about Buddha as, not Buddha as a Buddha statue. In the first place, you might see Buddha as a Buddha statue, as a Buddha image. But Buddha from a little bit Dhamma way, from a Dhamma perspective. Arahang, he broke the spokes of the Samsara wheel. And he never makes akusala, even in a secret. And he is eligible for receiving all these requisites from people. So these things have to come to your insight at that point. Not that Buddha statue which I saw somewhere. It might help a little bit, but you are not fully, you may not be fully supported at that point, because you don't have an understanding about the Buddha. You are not thinking about the Buddha through wisdom. You are thinking about the Buddha through devotion only. That is the problem over there. So initially we all look at him through devotion, but then it has to come to the wisdom part. Think about the Buddha through wisdom. But sometimes, even after reflecting upon the Buddha's great qualities, still fear, horripilation, terror, other mental negativities can last. At that point, Buddha said, then you think about the Dhamma's great qualities. Swakato, Sanditiko, Akaliko, Ehipassiko, Opanayiko, Pachitang Vetapo. What is reflect? Anussariya. Let's see the Pali word here. Noche mang anussariya. If by thinking about, reflecting on me, the better translation, if by remembering my great qualities, not going to help you out. Anussariyat. Remembering according to my great qualities. Then you have to think Dhammang Anussariya. You have to remember the context of the Dhamma's great qualities. Then you should be helped out. But still, there may be some other people who still go through some other negativities. At that point, Buddha said, then you have to think about, remember the quality is about Sangha members. That's how the sutta is flowing. So now we are going on to the last 3 qualities of the Dhamma. But let me ask you, what is Swakkato? We discussed that in our previous Monday discussion. What is Swakkato? Excellent in the beginning. But what does it say? What is this excellence for? We said Swakkata means a consistent trust about the Dhamma. A consistent trust, because Dhamma does not have any contradictions. If you see Dhamma from the suttas, with Abhidhamma you might see some doctrinal clashes, but within the sutta itself, themselves, you don't see any clashes. That's why it is said excellent part, consistency part. There are no overlapping. There are no clashes, doctrinal clashes within the teachings. So Sakkato means well expounded, which has this excellent quality of the teachings, and then there is a consistency with regard to the presentation of the Dhamma matters. Consistency. It has to be consistent, right? Otherwise Buddha talks something here and then he goes to another place, he talks something else. But there are things like that. How do we understand them? Sometimes Buddha says Vedana is 2, feelings are 2. Sometimes he says feelings are 3. Sometimes he says feelings are 9. Satipatthana Sutta, feelings are 9. Vedananupassana, there are 9 feelings. Why is it? So is there a clash with what was said in the Vedana Sangyutta and then the Satipatthana Suttas, as well as Satipatthana Sangyutta? There is no clash. What is going on is, sometimes, depending on the person, when he wants to teach feeling, in this case, he had to talk in 2 ways, he had to give in 3 ways, he had to give in 9 ways. But they all are descriptions of the same thing. There is no clash. So consistent nature of the presentation is Swakkato. Because when we say excellent, are you superimposing about the Buddha? How do you know? You heard from somebody. So we are going consistency. Yes, we can see the consistency. And then Swakkato. Sanditthiko. What is Sanditthiko? Sanditthiko? It has to be thoroughly studied and sincerely practiced. Its beneficial effects are for this life. It is to be seen here, not in the next life. But unfortunately, many people who are following Buddhism, they are practicing Buddhism for the next life. Right? So that means they override this quality. They override this quality. They override with their own imagination. Buddhism is for next life. They do dana, they practice meditation. Why? Next life we don't know, And I gave you a certain happiness yesterday, yeah? Yesterday and day before yesterday, yeah. You became a human due to a very massive good karma. So you did it already. Why are you scared? You've done it already. Now you need a little bit of push to continue the same thing to the next life. But being humble for the good karma has to consistently work on 10 kusala, you will make that happen. But becoming a human again for another human, already an existing human, shouldn't be a problem. But for a person who is reborn in apayas, it can be a problem. Majjhima Nikaya's Balapandita Sutta says that. But people who don't read that, they say, no, even for a human to become re-becoming as a human is like that one-eyed blind turtle who is coming out every 100 years, then the yolk is going to stuck into his eye, he opens the eye. That's a wrong understanding. That's for the apaya beings. That's why it's very dangerous to be born as an animal, go to hell. Because problem is not the suffering. Problem is you may not be able to come back from that state, not the suffering itself. We've been suffering a lot in our samsara. Problem is we don't know when we can get to this Dhamma teaching. We will never hear these things. We will never ever get any access to these things. That is the problem. Right? Okay, Sanditthiko means Dhamma is for understanding that the most benefit of Dhamma is here, not for the next life. But when you understand it's for here, you are doing well, you are becoming a good person, then next lives will be automatically taken care by that activity. You don't have to think about the next life. It's a chain, we understand. Whatever we do, due to what we do, next life will be created. So then where are we going to be very much concerned? Is it here or next life? Here, this part. Sanditthiko means we are going to understand that Dhamma, practice of Dhamma is for this life. We may die without becoming a Sotapanna, but at least we die with intention of becoming a Sotapanna. That's the plan. Right? That's the plan. So we are thoroughly studying. Thoroughly studying means Dhamma has to be studied widely. Dhamma has to be studied widely. What does it mean by wide learning of Dhamma? That means you go to every vihara, grab a lot of books from every vihara's bookshop, and then place in your whatever library. Now books become wide. You think your knowledge become wide. Is it like that or something else? What is this wide learning? Bahusutta. Buddha says in Mangala Sutta, right? How does he say? Bahu satchancha sippancha vinayocha susikkito. Bahu satcha. Wide learning, not provisional learning. Some people learn only 1, 2, 3 suttas and they think they know everything and they want to think everything with those 3 suttas. But they are only 3 contextual suttas. There are many other suttas about that subject. So we have to study under a teacher and understand what suttas are we supposed to read about this concept, that subject, this subject. Then only we have a little bit of wide learning so we can understand the context. And the practice has to be very sincere. It has to be a sincere practice. What do you mean by sincere practice? Are we not practicing sincerely? How is your practice? Are you practicing sincerely? I see a lot of people nodding like this. That means, how do you practice that sincere practice? What is it? How to practice Dhamma sincerely? This is not for other people. And today, the last 3 qualities are clearly saying that this teaching is for us personally, not for my mother, not for my father. Mother will be benefited, father will be benefited. But it's for me, it's my personal journey. So I cannot become dishonest about my practice. I have to be very honest. So wide learning of Dhamma and then sincere practice. These 2 really help us to understand Sanditthiko. Then only you understand Dhamma is mostly for this life, primarily for this life. And the rest of the lives, sansaric life will be the second part and it will be happening when you do well here. Okay. Akaliko. Kaliko means timely. Akaliko means universal. Is the Buddha's Dhamma universal or timely? Only for a certain time? It is universal. But the culture in the Buddhist text, is it timely or is it universal? Is there a culture in the Buddhist suttas? The Brahmin came, king came. There are no Brahmins now, no kings now. But there are certain ways we can see. And Buddha used a lot of examples for the dogs, cows, goats, pigs, right? These animals. So, are we supposed to sort of strip out the cultural base of the suttas. How do we understand these things? We may have to sometimes strip out of this cultural context to understand, because we are now looking at these suttas from a different era of the evolution. So we cannot sometimes take it from certain cultural perspectives. Say, for instance, in the Singalovada Sutta, Buddha says, if you are a husband, if you are a partner, you must give jewelries to the wife. It's your responsibility. Right? That's what Buddha says. But there is no such thing on the other hand. Now in today's world, they are questioning why the Buddha didn't say, why can't the wife give any jewelry to the husband? What's the problem with that? So then we are saying to them that Buddha understood that culture at that time. So at that time, there was no that kind of practice. Man, it was a patriarchal society, man-based society. That's why. So now when we understand the Singalovada Sutta's responsibilities, then we have to strip out certain areas by understanding Buddha approach that culture. Buddha did not revolutionize the culture in one day in a sutta. He had to be careful because Brahmins were the very powerful community. So how do we understand those things? Somebody might say, this is gender discriminating. Why only man? Why not the woman? What's the problem? The problem is cultural part. So if there is any need arising as we evolve in this society, we understand that part from this practical understanding. But sutta-wise, the life-wise, we don't have any issues. So then when we understand Dhamma's universal presentation, we need to be concerned about these areas. Right? Now if you take another example, Majjhima Nikaya, another book, Majjhima Nikaya, some of the suttas where it is said that Buddha said that Brahmins are worse than the dogs. And we think about that. Why Buddha wanted to say that they are worse than the dogs? Why he couldn't have chosen another term for them? So we have some issues with these. Some of the suttas we have to be very careful, because that's why wide learning helps us to understand. Is it because suttas at some point were preserved by unenlightened monks who come from different caste in India? So sometimes they were trying to attack the Brahmins. Sometimes Brahmins were trying to attack the lower caste people. Sometimes all were trying to attack the women. They were demonizing the women in some of the sutta texts. So how do we understand these things? We have to have a good understanding about major suttas and then to think about where things have gone wrong. Because this is mainly coming down to us through many people's effort. That's why when you read a sutta, please consult a good teacher. Otherwise you will ended up in a very, I can't say that, in a very bad place. You will be really be badly impressive about the place. Okay, Akaliko once again means Dhamma is universal. Can we think about the universal teaching of from Buddhism? Four Noble Truths, right? Universal, even it is applicable. And then dependent origination, 12 parts of the Paටිsamuppada. So they are all universal. Okay. Now we go into the today's part. Study Ehi Passiko, Opanaiko, Pacchattāṃ Vitabbu. Ehi Passiko. So Ehi Passiko is a hybrid term. What does Ehi mean? Ehi means come, and Passiko means see. Come and see. As Buddhists, are we that open in our real Buddhist life? Or are we supposed to be like that? Are we this open in our practice? Do you sometimes have this, I mean, when you read Dhamma, when you participate in Dhamma activities, are you really becoming this open-minded to see the Dhamma? It has to be. And then when you teach, when you promote, when you, I would say, spread the word across with the Dhamma, we have to have this understanding. So that means Dhamma books shouldn't be in the bookshelves, put in the padlock and the lock as only for the reference. So it has to be come and see perspective, right? Perhaps these temples, some of the temples bought these big facsimile texts for spending a lot of money. Maybe they have palm leaf manuscript, very expensive one, the ancient manuscripts. But when we promote Dhamma, we have to have this open-minded nature. We don't need to cover it. When somebody asks you, say for instance, what is Buddhism? Why did this happen? You don't need to defend Buddhism. Don't try to defend Buddhism. Just be open-minded. Just have a very honest conversation about it. Right? And then only you are understanding this quality. Let's see the text. Ehipassiko is a Pali term that translates to come and see or come and experience for yourself. It is a key characteristic of the Buddha's teachings, inviting people to examine. Not asking people to come and do. Inviting people to examine, experience, test. But there are issues. Now when we say to somebody, you test Dhamma, he might test in his own way. So we have to help out in certain ways. But the overall idea should be giving that space to that person. Not indoctrinating. We don't have to indoctrinate anybody. Because the moment we're going to indoctrinate, it's going to be another religion. This approach is rooted in an open, empirical attitude. What is this? Empirical, experiential attitude. We have to experience it. Rather than accepting teachings based solely on tradition, faith, authority, practitioners are encouraged to verify the truth through their own experience. Now when we discuss Dhamma with teenagers, young adults, we are reiterating this part all the time. Not asking to be a Buddhist, right? Might think about free thinkers, atheists, agnostics and all these people, but we are trying to let them understand, empirically understand life and Dhamma. Own experience. This is what is happening to many. I mean, see, after certain years of their life, when problems happen to them, they come up with their Dhamma understanding. That is this part, right? Right. So this is what we understand by come and see. The principle underscores that the Dhamma is meant to be practiced, experienced, and validated in one's own life, rather than accepted blindly. What do you think about your life? Are you bornly Buddhist? How many of you are bornly Buddhist? When you were born, mother, father said to you, you are Buddhist now. Huh? Born Buddhist. Not born again. Huh? Others? That means you were all proselytized, converted to Buddhism by somebody? Huh? Because you were not raising your hand. What's wrong with you? You were not bornly Buddhist. I mean, Mahayana or whatever. You just free thinkers. Taoist, yes, Taoist. And then, how is the change happen? At which point? Many of you. And so, I mean, how did it happen? University. For some, it was the university, maybe learning. And others? Huh? Crisis. Yeah, crisis. Yes. And others? Accident. That's a good example. By chance. Yeah. Yeah. Accidentally.
I was surveyed that Buddhists are the happiest people.
Oh.
So that's how
I see. So that means there was a misconception. You wanted to study and finally you became a Buddhist in that approach. And very interesting answers. That means some were born Buddhists, and some studied Buddhism at the university level, and some became Buddhist by chance, accidentally. And then others, how did you come to these Buddhist teachings? Yeah? Reading books. Huh? Yeah, that means what made you to reading books probably, yeah? Reading books, maybe Dhamma talks. Did anybody become Buddhist by social media? A lot of things happening on social media. The people get to know, we fall in love on social media. So I was wondering. Young people. Young at heart. Others? Any other answers? How did you become this level of Buddhist? This level of at this point?
Bhante, I just started. I cannot address myself as Buddhist yet.
That means the BMB's culture, they have Ehipasiko. Come and see, they are not branding. Buddhists should only come to the temple. Huh? Right? So it's good. So that's another channel. And other ways? Wanted to add anything interesting? Because we are talking about this Ehipasiko attitude. This come and see. How did you get into Buddhism? Sunday school. Who sent you to Sunday school? Maybe mother, father, and then? Yes.
Actually, I signed up for my son from the Sunday school.
Sunday school.
They two ended up in
Interesting. Any other answers? Maybe we'll pick one more answer. Or you suddenly became Buddhist. You slept and in the morning you became Buddhist. Yes.
Dhamma talk by Chief.
You mean?
Actually comes to this temple, so just follow.
Yeah. So different people got into Buddhism from different ways. But now, when you look at those different channels and sources, how you got into Buddhism, you might not say you are Buddhist sometimes. You might say you follow the Buddha's teachings. Right? Buddha does not talk to Buddhists in any of these suttas. Right? But you understood that there is this open-minded nature which is maintained throughout. Ehipasiko. If you look at the Buddhist stories themselves, they have this idea too. Can you think about any Buddhist story where Buddha showed this come and see free thinking nature in any of the suttas? There are many suttas Buddha talks about these things. Remember, there is one sutta in the Sutta Nipata, which I cannot remember the name. In that sutta, one deva came to see the Buddha at night. And then he told the Buddha, Bhante, I was not a follower of you. I followed my own ascetic tradition. But I became a deva. But I would like to see you, so I came to see you. And then he said, this is what I practiced before I became a deva as a human. Then he said, Buddha listened to him. He left. He went back to the heaven. In the morning Dhamma talk, Buddha incorporated all what he said into the Dhamma talk. Now what does it mean? Then that means even good things from other religious traditions, mostly ascetic tradition, contemplative traditions, were included very fast by the Buddha. Such a very free-thinking person. Otherwise, no, it's not my Dhamma, it's about somebody. We cannot bring that here, right? He was very open to discuss. Then other places, when many people learn Dhamma teachings, at the end they are, I think we're going to look at it, one of the suttas. Let's go to, perhaps we go to, I would say, Chunky Sutta. In this Chunky Sutta, you can see at the end, this Chunky Brahmin, Abhikkantambu Gautama, Abhikkantam, excellent. They were happily saying to Buddha some of the, some of the very repetitive, happy statement. Moolhasava Maggang Achikkeya. Buddha, I understood Dhamma just as someone who lost in his way is to be told by someone, this is the correct way to go, right way to go. It is just as that person finds the right way, I understood Dhamma from you. Andakareva telapajjotandar. It is just as someone lights a candle in the darkness, I understood Dhamma. You seem to have lighted a candle in my darkness of my ignorance. You lighted it. Nikkujitang ma ukkujiteya. If there was a pot that was turned downward, you turn upward, and then now the water is going to fill. So I want to become I want to become a Buddhist, a follower of you, and I want to proclaim outside, this rich man, this Brahmin became a follower of the Buddha. What did the Buddha say? You don't need to do that. You just follow your religion. And at times you come to the vihara and learn it. What a good thing is that? And then see, finally, upasakam bhavang gotamo dharetu ajatakepan. Okay, if you don't like that idea, then I want to proclaim I'm going to be upasaka from today until I pass away. So Buddha never encourages anybody to make a procession that I became a Buddhist, to declare, publicly publicize that I am a Buddhist. Such a very humble person. I think when we learn Buddhism, sometimes some people not become that humble because as we understand, they think that Dhamma is just a knowledge. So then a lot of Dhamma goes to their head, they can't even walk after. Heavy beings, lightness will go. So Buddha is such a humble person. He did not ask anybody to show off, brag about what he or she learned. It is your personal life. Learn it, make your way to that particular thing. Ehipasiko, come and see. So then that means we have to understand that Buddha's Dhamma should be an open, minded, or very liberal place to discuss. It's not a very hidden place. It's not a place to hide things. It has to be open, right? It is a very transparent Dhamma teaching. We don't have to hide it, right? So we have to be very open. When we do Dhamma discussions, we have to be very open. This is another thing. People do Dhamma discussion. 2, 3, 4 people sit together, talk about Dhamma. So nobody has to defend their Dhamma knowledge. They have to be open. Then only the flow goes very interestingly. So, ehipasiko. Then, opanaiko. Opanaiko. The Pali word is upane tabbati opanaiko. Neti means, Pali word neti. What does Pali word neti mean? Neti. Now we are talking opanaiko. Opanaiko. So, how does it make up in Pali? Upane tabbati. Don't worry, the Pali word I am going to write. Netabba. Netabba means to lean towards. Lean towards individual, me. Lean towards me. That means Dhamma has to lean towards individual. Lean towards oneself. That would be a nice way to say. It has to be leaning towards oneself. So that means leaning not outward, leaning inward. Is it happening in our life? Or we are using it as a culture only? We are using it as a set of another religious teaching. Is the learning of the Dhamma, understanding, learning, understanding, realizing, or are all these things are leading inward or leading outward to a book? It has to be, supposed to be. Supposed to be. But we have to be very careful. Let's say we learn about metta practice, unlimited friendliness. So how do I really benefit from my metta practice? Maybe the sutta studies, Dhamma talks about metta. How do I really get benefited from this learning? It is by thinking how to lean that knowledge inward. Inward means to my life, my personal life. Because if I don't become a good person, I cannot think about this goodness, this skillfulness on other people. So open-aiko means netabbo. Netabbo means lean towards. This open-aiko is making up with, in Pali, netabbo means leaning. Leaning towards. We can say leaning inward. Inward to our life. Lean into where? Lean into our heart. Right? Lean into our heart. Finally, it has to go to the heart. Not just to the knowledge part. Not just to the mind, brain. Right? Now, how many things we study in the university? Yeah? A lot of things we are studying in the university. But we make them forget when we get the job sometimes. Huh? That heavy load of knowledge is left because we don't want that. What if somebody is studying Buddhism in that way? Only as an academic point of view. So it has to, the right Dhamma things has to lean inward to the heart. It describes a quality of the Dhamma that encourages practitioners to turn inward and apply the teachings directly to their own life. Directly to their own life. How to apply Dhamma directly to our life? That means there are people who are applying Dhamma indirectly to their life too. Right? There may be, yeah? How to do that? Say, for instance, Buddha talks about compassion, kindness, karuna. So, how to apply karuna directly to our life? Huh? How to do it? Huh? We have to first be kind to us. I am kind to myself. How to be kind to others without being kind to myself? Like people who are doing fitness things, no pain, no gain. You're going to put a tagline over there. I am kind to myself. I am kind to myself. So this is the beginning. You are turning your attitude about karuna, not just as a Brahma Vihara, another meditation, a good thing. No. It has to directly tap into our personal life. I need to be kind to myself. How to be kind to myself? We have to look at it from different angles. I have to take care of my health. Anybody who does not take care of his or her health cannot be taken as a good Buddhist. They have no karuna for oneself. Not taking enough rest in his or her life, not taking care of other things. So it's a very broad spectrum thing about life. So karuna has to start from oneself. Metta has to start from oneself. Right? How to metta us? I have to stop hating myself. I shouldn't self-sabotage at any point for any decisions I made in my life. Are we doing that? Are we accepting ourselves without any implications like that? Or you are thinking, I made a couple of mistakes. I was the stupidest person in this part of my life. So we have to accept unconditionally. I have to accept myself unconditionally. Then only real metta is arising so that we can do to other people. Directly, we are applying Dhamma directly to my life. We are applying kindness to direct. I was discussing very simple things. Mudita means happiness when other people get going in their life. Do we have mudita for us, for our own achievements? Or are we sometimes blaming for our failures, rejections? We all get rejected. We all must have got rejected in our life. probably different things, maybe work, maybe personal life. So, are they going to be our stepping stones? Were they stepping stones to our this layer of our life? So then, are we still having certain non-mudita for us? So that means we have to directly apply mudita to our life. And think about all the other things, Noble Eightfold Path, all these tiny little minor major Dhamma things must be directly applied as much as we can. I know it's a tedious effort, it takes time, but at least you should be in the process to do it. So, this leading or leaning inward, this idea means that you are letting Dhamma come to your life so that you are feeling good about your learning, because it's not just a mere knowledge you write down and bring the book back home and by next Monday 4 o'clock, okay, where did I live up and come back with the book. This is something different, more than that knowledge, people, right? At least one drop of Dhamma should have gone into that true real life. Open-eye-go. And then, unlike teachings that remain abstract or theoretical, the Dhamma is inherently practical and oriented towards personal inner transformation. Very interesting. Do we have abstract teachings in Buddhism? Abstract? Most of them are abstract, right? What is Nibbana? Where is it? So we look at it from our own technical framework, but there are abstract teachings. But we don't mind about these abstract teachings because we understand in order for us to transform personally, we need that kind of a Dhamma framework. So open-eye-go leads you onto the true transformation. You are becoming a better person. Don't think about Nibbana in the first place. If you are learning Buddhism, if you want to study Buddhism, first try to become a better version of yourself through the Dhamma teaching. Then Nibbana will come to you one day. Don't chase the Nibbana. If you chase the Nibbana, Nibbana will go away. Because when you create your good life, you will see that you are slowly making way to a certain higher spirit, higher level. Right? So, wherever you are, become a better version of you. This is open-eye-go. This characteristic emphasizes that the teachings lead to inner exploration, guiding individuals toward deeper understanding and self-realization. Through open-eye-go, the Dhamma becomes a personal journey inviting practitioners to introspect, to observe their minds and hearts, and ultimately to reach liberation by following. Yeah, it's pretty clear. I'm going to show you a sutta, Chunky Sutta Majjhima Nikaya 95, where Buddha asks us to think about different 5 ways how people want to follow a certain teaching, certain religion. The Buddha said there are some people who would like to follow religion, their religious teaching, simply by faith, because they believe somebody sacred brought it down to this point of time, saddha. Or they have their own personal preference. There's a typo here. Yeah, preference, personal preference, ruchi. Sort of I want to follow just because I like it. So these are mostly emotive aspects, emotional aspects of choosing a religion, a teaching. Sometimes there are some others, they are going to be anussavas, repeated hearing. Now there are people who are not emotional in choosing a religion, teaching, but they only defend what was come down to them by the people who are believing in faith and personal preference, anussava. Buddha did not appreciate that too. And then he suggested akara parivitakka, reason, thought, and being convinced of a view after pondering over it. That means rationalization is important. We have to rationalize, reason out Dhamma teachings. How to rationalize Dhamma? May I ask you? We normally rationalize akusala. Right? Not many people rationalize kusala. How to rationalize an akusala? You're going to be very logical about the akusala activity. Say, for instance, someone who is becoming alcoholic at the same time want to say that it's okay to become alcoholic. This is a rationalizing akusala. More bad karma will be created by that person. Maybe someone is bullying other people, emotionally abusing other people. And when he or she been asked, he might say, no, it's okay. My family, what's the problem with you? Right? So rationalizing one's own bad akusala activity, that has more bad karma. And then the opposite is that, are we rationalizing our kusala activities? Let's take dana activity, dana offering. Are we doing that too? How to rationalize dana? We have to check whether we are doing dana in the Buddhist way. Because dana is being done by many people. Right? What is the Buddhist way of giving dana? Not looking for people who are better people. Buddhists are not supposed to look for better people. Because when you think about better people, you have lobha is creating. Because you are sort of greedy about your good karma. Oh, my money, hard-earned money, why to offer here? Right? Then you are creating the greed and offer the dana. You cannot look at it. But there's a sutta called Anguttara Nikaya Velama Sutta, where a lot of people misunderstand. It said that giving food to a dog or a cat is giving you the good karma coming to you for 100,000 years. If you give some food to a dog or a cat or any animal, the good karma you are creating come back to you for until you are going through 100,000 years. Seems to be a good thing. But then what is happening? They are marginalizing. Then if you give food to a person who has no sila, a human, no sila, better than giving to the dog. I mean, this is again demeaning that dana. It's a human. Giving something to a human, even who has no sila, bad sila, better than giving to the dogs or cats. Then the people who are unwise thinking, why do I give food to the cat? Let the cat be there. And I'm going to give the food to the person who has no sila, but is a human. And then it says, giving food to someone who has sila is better than all these two. So I'm not going to give food to anybody. No human, no dog, no cat. Only for good people. Then giving dana to somebody who is going on the Sotapanna path is better than all these three people. So at that point, he or she stop all that previous danas. And then giving only to somebody who is on the way to Sotapanna, asking. So in this way, this list keeps going up. At a certain point, Pacceka Buddha, Samma Sambuddha, then Sangha members. But finally, it ends up with a very interesting point. Let's go and check it out. Velama Sutta. This is Anguttara Nikaya's 9.20. Yeah, you can see non-returner, anagami, arahant person, Pacceka Buddha, Samma Sambuddha here, and then Samma Sambuddha with Sangha members. And then you can see somebody who has precepts, and then somebody who practices metta even for a moment. So giving dana to someone who has metta even for a moment is better than giving dana to Buddha also. Then stop all the other danas, prior danas. If you find someone who is doing metta, give dana to that person. That is some people think. And then it would be more fruitful to develop a heart of metta, even just as long as it takes to pull a cow's udder than to undertake the training rules. Right? And then, that's not the final point, terminus. It would be more fruitful to develop the perception of impermanence, anicca sanya, even for as long as a finger snap. Everything is anicca. And then those people finding out who are doing that, finger snapping for anicca sanya, and then giving dana to that person. This list shouldn't be misunderstood. This list was taken from a certain perspective of the dana. But lay people cannot practice dana this way. Then you are only looking for somebody higher than all these people. Then you are creating hatred, you are creating lobha, you are cherry picking the audience, recipients. So, this was taken from a different angle of karma. It's not going to be relevant to your day-to-day dana. My suggestion is make every opportunity you are going through in your daily life a dana moment. It could be a cat, it could be a dog, it could be a bird, it could be a human. You are going to be generous to each and everybody. That is the proper dana. Because you will find all these people one day. You don't have to look for one person here. When you are giving like that, one day it could be Arahant. We never know. Somebody could be a Sotapanna. But if you're stopping all the danas, no, I'm not going to give dana to Vihara monks. I think there are better monks somewhere else in a forest. I got to find out them who they are, right? So that will demean your generous thought. So now going back to our point here, how to rationalize our kusala? Rationalizing means understanding the proper dana, not getting caught up with unnecessary things. You understand, I want to be generous at any point. This is the way. The Buddha said in one sutta, if people know just as much as I know about the dana, they will never eat alone. They will share every single bite of the food. If people know in as much how I know about the dana, they will never eat alone. Even a biscuit, I think, in our understanding. They will share, because dana is such powerful. But don't starve, in that way, don't starve just sharing all the things. You have to be comfortable. So the thing is, try to be generous in your own way. Don't try to look for better people. Then you create a lot of, so rationalizing. What about other things? Let's take another example. Sila. How to rationalize sila? What is sila to you? Become a disciplined person. Is discipline very important to us? It's important, right? It has a certain level of organized nature. A good Buddhist is a very organized person. What is being organized? What are the basic levels of being organized? He or she can be mindful anytime, because if you are not organized, ready for that, you will always become absent-minded. You know, but you are not organized. You know what it is, but you are not organized to become so. And more importantly, karma. It's a responsibility. People who are not organized enough cannot do good karma, because they don't take the responsibility. They do whatever they want. And finally, they can come back to a meditation retreat like yesterday, clearing bad karma. Doing bad karma. I mean, I'm just thinking, just kidding. So, a good Buddhist, a good person who is really following Buddha teaching, is a more organized person in terms of spiritual life. One way is taking responsibility for each karma. And then other one is understanding how to become mindful. These are all organized activities. We have to become organized. And then, okay, now our question is how to rationalize sila. Everybody is taking precepts, pancha sila, 5 precepts, sometimes 8 precepts. But how to rationalize? How to become, have you ever given some thought how to become truly a sila person? Why do I practice sila? Have you ever thought? I am practicing sila to go to samadhi. I don't need to end up in my sila. That is why I practice sila. So you are rationalizing why, for what? Am I wasting my spiritual life with unnecessary silas? You are rationalizing. Then bhavana, meditation practice. How to rationalize it? You are going to check with your meditation. Am I really progressing in my meditation? Am I still struggling in my meditation? Am I really following the right instruction? Have I already found out the right teacher? So you are going to rationalize your practice. That is very important. That is called this fourth and fifth levels ways that are mentioned in the Chanki Sutta. It is a part of open aiko, leading towards. Otherwise you cannot bring Dhamma into you, because you have to do that. Finally, why is the Buddha's Dhamma referred to as Pacchattam Veditabbo Vinyu? This is interesting, last great quality. Vinyu means, who are the Vinyus? Vinyu mean? Those who have a Vijnana? Vinyu means those who have a Vijnana, or those who have a consciousness. Vinyu means a Pali word for the wise person. You need to become a Vinyu one day. I think you may be already a Vinyu. Have you ever found out this Pali word somewhere in your Sutta readings? Metta Sutta. How is it given? Naparu paranni kubbeta nati manyeta katta chinang kanchi vyarosana patika sanya nanya manyas. We don't find it. Where is it? Nacha kuddang samachare kinchiyena vinyu pare upavadiyo. What is this? Last skillful habit. 15th skillful habit. 15th one. What is it? Never do any akusala that is criticized by the wise person. So that means the one in the temple who is scolding everybody is becoming the wise person. Is that the wise person? Or somewhere else? That means should we be scolded by other people? It's not like that. Wise people will never scold. Wise people will give you a guidance, a kind guidance to you. Now, Buddha says, this Dhamma, how to understand, how to experience this Dhamma. Now we want to bring it to our life as we understood in the earlier quality, open aiko, leading to inward. He says, to be personally experienced by the wise. If you are the wise person, you must experience personally. Pacchattam means personally. Looks like a private activity, huh? It's a personal activity. Why is it? You may learn as a collective group here, but the true Dhamma goes inside personally, with your personal experiences. Pacchattam Veditabbo Vinyo heti. First of all, I wanted to discuss this Vinyu part a little bit, because Buddha says Dhamma can be experienced only by the wise people. Others cannot. That's what it says. It says to be Dhamma, to be personally experienced by the wise people. If you are not wise, you cannot experience. It might be a knowledge for you. Then we have to understand, who is this wise person? Who is this person? And we know in Mangala Sutta, Buddha says, Asevanacha balanang. Don't associate unwise people. Panditanang, another word for Vinyu. Associate wise people, but still not clear about who is Pandita, who is Vinyu, who is Sappurisa. Right? So, in order to understand that, we have to go to another sutta called Sevitabba Sutta. You can read this later. Buddha says that who is a Sappurisa, who is a Vinyu, who is a wise person, the one who always come up with kusala thoughts. By default, not by effort. There are people with, I'm having a lot of greed now. I have to de-escalate myself in my practice. It's not. That person, the normal, natural thoughts are very generous thoughts, not greedy thoughts. And then no ill will at all. All the thoughts that are coming to that mind are goodwill stuff. Always want to help other people. No cursing other people, not throwing any tantrums to anybody. Very, very goodwill stuff. That means in case you happen to come up with a thought with regard to the curse, swearing, you can be taken as a Vinyu. Dhamma is far away from you. Very, very far away, long way to go. So, and then Samadhi. So, the one whose natural thoughts are wholesome, this is one criterion. Second criterion is ones whose speeches are naturally wholesome. Always words are truthful, words are always bringing people together, unity of other people, no bad mouthing. And then the words are very pleasant according to where she is living. And then always spending every moment of time with virtuous, necessary, important word structures. So this is happening naturally. This is the second criterion to understand the wise person. Third criterion is actions. The wise person's natural actions are always trying to take care of other people's life, other people, beings' life, and then take care of their possessions, and then naturally they are in their relationship borders, parameter, they are within their relationship borders. Naturally, not by effort. If you still think your journey is still a by effort journey, Dhamma journey is still a by effort journey, you have to do a large challenge, lot of challenges are coming up, that means still you are not yet there. So you won't be able to experience Dhamma in the proper way. You may experience in a different way, like a flashback, but it will be truly experienced by you when you are coming to that kind of a level. At that point, you will truly experience the Dhamma. Now, I'm not saying that this is very hard. What I'm saying is that when your life is coming to that kind of a level, you will truly experience Dhamma. Pacchattam vetappu vinyu. Another thing to concern here is that this is more towards the subjective experience of the Dhamma. Now, normally we talk about always look at the objective experience of everything. See things as they are. See how things come to be. Right? Vipassana attitude. This is what we normally understand. But normally people have this way. They are seeing things as they are, so that they are having some issues. But here what the Buddha says is that subjective experience is very important too. Let's see. Pacchattam vetappu vinyuhi is a Pali phrase that translates to be personally experienced by the wise. And you must be a wise person, as I explained. It highlights the quality of the Dhamma as something that must be directly known, understood, and verified through one's own experience. This phrase emphasizes the subjective experiential nature of the Dhamma, pointing to the fact that its truth cannot be fully grasped through external sources or intellectual analysis alone. Very interesting. That means even you listen to many Dhamma talks, engage in sutta studies, do many things, going to a vihara for couple decades, still that is not enough to trigger this part. May not be enough to trigger that part. Why? Because you need to become a wise person. This is very interesting. Instead, it requires first-hand realization. It needs a first-hand realization. Pacchattam vetappu vinyu suggests that true wisdom and insight arise when the teachings are lived and understood deeply within oneself, making the Dhamma a personal and transformative journey for each practice. So I'm taking collective Dhamma hearing, like what you are doing here now, and collective Dhamma activities, volunteer activities, all that. How are they going to help? They are also finally leading up to one's personal transformation. So what we need to understand here is that becoming a wise person is mandatory in the Buddhist teachings. Right? It's very important. Buddha actually always makes a note about the futile nature of associating the bad people. Why is it? Why this company with the unwise people bring us a lot of problems? Why is it? It is because there is something that is going parallel to this concept. That means Kalyana Mitta Sampada. That is why Buddha is making a highlight over here. He said, one day, Venerable Ananda told the Buddha, I think accomplishment of Kalyana Mitta friendship is only half of our spiritual practice. He said one day. Then Buddha said, don't say as such. And the entire spiritual journey depends on the Kalyana Mitta friendship. That is why Vinyu is another term for the Kalyana Mittas too. It's a very important part. Now, say for instance, if we don't have the access to the Buddha's teachings, how to become wise? We are not able to become wise. And plus, lot of information on internet about Buddhism, they are unverified information. A lot of people add in their own ways. So how to verify this information? Somebody should be there to understand from Pali itself, who may have read couple of books and suttas. So, Pacchattam Vetabhunyam, that means you will truly understand Dhamma when you become a wise person. I hope you are already near level of wisdom, near level of wise nature. How to become wise? Always try to think good thoughts, speak good words, and then act with good actions. You will try in the first place, but later on with the practice, you will become as such. You don't need to put effort for that. So this is called Pacchattam Vetabhunyam. So going back again for the 3 qualities we did today. Ehipassiko means this open-minded nature. We are, when we study Dhamma, when we learn, when we invite somebody, this Dhamma studies, whatever Dhamma studies have to be very open. This also tells the temples, viharas, Buddhist centers must be open to everybody. Their nature of approach should be non-sectarian, finally. So it's easy for people to come, not like this, that. So it's non-sectarian attitude. And then open aiko means we have to bring our Dhamma understanding towards our own personal experience. That is called open aiko. Pacchattam Vetabhu means the true people who are really experienced the Dhamma journey, Dhamma, are the ones who have become wise people. Right? So that's what we discussed. So any questions? I think we have time. Any questions that are arising from today and about Dhamma experience? With today's discussion, we are finalizing Dhamma part. That means we are from next Monday, we are going to the Sangha's great qualities. So I think I explained the importance of asking useful Dhamma questions, because otherwise you will die with the questions. You will carry the question to the next life. Never know whether you will find the teacher and then with the right conditions. So just don't leave them with you. If you have.
Good evening, Bhante. You highlighted that the Dhamma so-called had to be open and to be accessed to everyone. So what is your view on there are some centers, right? Even to become a member, they have to vet through. I mean, for you to become a member of so-called that association. So, I mean, what's your view and comment on that, Bhante? Thank you.
Okay. Now, this is another area. I'm not going to blame anybody. This is another area when there are many centers nowadays. Parallel, we look at 20 years back here, even in KL, maybe only the Mahavihara be the place. Many monks who come here, who go to other viharas, other centers, give Dhamma. Now they have their own. Many centers have come up, maybe distance, other condition and courses. So they run with their own plans. As you said, they have to become a member. Probably they want to look at their financial side, donation side. They want to create their own gathering, those kind of things. They are administrative stuff. But here, what we understand is charging, you know. I mean, Dhamma should be free, right? This is the main part over here. So Dhamma has to be free. It's not that you are selling Dhamma, but sometimes some centers may have a nominal fee because it's not for the Dhamma. Dhamma is priceless. If you ask how much you charge, I would say $1 million. But there is a charge. Now, say for instance, there is a cost here, air conditioning, and then there are people working here in the back. So centers may charge something like that. Maybe they will ask donations. But nobody should charge for the Dhamma. They can't sell the Dhamma. So that is the main point here. Otherwise, they may have their own. I'm not saying it is good or bad. That is how they operate. I think something very interesting has to happen in our Dhamma experience in one day. Because these suttas, they all are still lying as a story. So when you want to learn, you have to read the whole story. Somebody has to do a collection by making a mathematical plan for each sutta. When you go to Metta Sutta, this is what is in the Metta Sutta. Otherwise, we have to read many repetitions in every sutta. Kind of confused. Sometimes there are same sutta named Sangarava Sutta, there's another Sangarava Sutta. How many Metta Suttas are there in the canon? Many Metta Suttas, right? So somebody has to do that kind of collection so that many people will be able to access. Now the way how the canon is now used, you have to read the whole sutta with the story. There's an extra effort. So say for instance you go to Metta Sutta, 10 stanzas. So somebody has to read the whole 10 stanzas, but still don't understand. But if somebody says, no, first 3 stanzas talk about 15 skillful habits. If you want to practice metta, you have to start from there. And the rest of the stanza, this is what it says, not go to each and everything. So this kind of thing will open many people's, I think, minds. I think we have to think this ehipassiko attitude in that sense. Then centers also will feel easy to attract many people. Because they are also still promoting this, whatever the things that they have. Yeah. All right, any other questions?
Evening, Bhante. We all very often hear that the Dhamma is good in the beginning, good in the middle, good at the end. Can you please enlighten us on more specifically what each part refers to?
Adi Kalyanam, Majje Kalyanam, Pariyosana Kalyanam, Satang, Sabhyanjanam, the Pali Suttas. Now, what is this? I kind of like gave you the background before. Adi Kalyanam, Majje Kalyanam, Pariyosana Kalyanam means Buddha's, it is referring to the early suttas. Buddha says, my Dhamma is not doctrinally clashing each other. It's consistent. The message is consistent. It's a consistent message. It's not doctrinally conflicting with each other. Whatever I said with the 5 ascetics, whatever I told to another Brahmin, whatever I said at the end of my life in the what you call Pava city, they are all given without any conflict. And there's nothing to fill up. There's nothing to remove. That is how we understand this. Actually, translation excellent with Kalyana might be a poor translation. Kalyana is not excellent. I probably think it's consistent. My Dhamma is equally consistent at the beginning, in the middle, and at the end. I think it's a translation problem. So Kalyana means consistent in a good way. Yeah. But Buddha never said just because of that we have to believe it blindly. Everybody under a good teacher, learn, study, learn, understand. He even asks us to investigate who is the Buddha in the Vimansaka Sutta Majjhima Nikaya. All right, so we will pick one more question and we will wrap this up. Yes, please.
Good evening, Bhante. My question is that in Dhammacakkappada Sutta, there is a word saying that when the mind is still, and then aloka upadi, and then panya upadi. So this panya, is it referring to the Dhamma, the universal truth? So if it is, it means that when the mind is still, then the Dhamma will appear.
No, this is Buddha's experience. this experience won't come to us. This is how the ascetic Siddhartha experienced the Samma Sambuddhahood. Not normal people, when they become arahants, they don't go through that. Aloka Udapadi, Panya Udapadi, Vicca Udapadi, these 5. So Dhammacakkappavattana Sutta's narrative is about the ascetic Siddhartha's experience into becoming the Samma Sambuddha. Even Tiparivatta Dwadasakara, the Buddha said 4 noble truths, normal people, they just understand. But Tiparivatta is only for the Samma Sambuddhas. 3 ways and 12 perspectives. So I think it's only for bodhisattvas to become a Samma Sambuddha, that experience. Their Panya means his Panya, the lofty Panya, yes, the greatest wisdom that he got.
The 4 noble truths.
But it is the fuller version of that. Because some arahants have issues with regard to the Buddha's arahanthood. I think, let me explain to you that. Yeah. Now, there was an arahant called Pilindi Vaccha. He is an arahant. But when he talks to people, he talks in an unpleasant way. Because he's a Brahmin for many lives. He's talking to people, hey, outcast, how are you? Hey, outcast. So people get very mad about him. Why you call us outcast? We are good people. Then one day, he's not talking with a bad intention, because he used to talk to people like that. He's a Brahmin, like you said, in India at that time. And one day, he saw a man who was carrying a cart of some fruits. So he went there. He was very inquisitive about everything, curious. What is in your cart? Outcast. He was very mad. He said, supposed to say about mangoes, he said something else. Then, in a moment of time, the mangoes became that particular fruit. He was very shocked to see that. Then he talked to another vendor, my fruits became the fruit that I said to that monk. He doesn't know who is that. Then he said, this must be an arahant. You lied to him. Go back, apologize to him. Then he apologized. Fruits became mango again. Very interesting story. Never lie to an arahant. Right? So the problem is, why is the arahant talking in an insulting way? The problem is, some arahants, actually most arahants, they don't remove vasana quality when they become arahants. This is a very interesting part. Now Buddha also arahant, right? But there's something called vasana. Vasana means sansaric habits. Sansaric habits. So even almost many individuals who became arahants, they still carry the vasana part. The most customary things that they got used to. Now you see Pilindi Vaccha, Arahant Pilindi Vaccha carried his Brahmanic thinking when he called other people. But Buddha, savasana, his arahanthood has abandoned all the sansaric habits. His arahanthood is the most special. That's why aloko, udapadi, vicca, udapadi, all these are coming in that most exquisite way. But other normal arahants, they have vasana. Actually, we all have vasana. That's why someone who is 10 years old becoming a champion in mathematics. How come he is such or she is such skill in the maths? That means he or she must have not started the mathematical journey in this life. Have started a long way ago. Even you, I don't think that you got into Dhamma in this life. You must have started somewhere in a previous life. What happened here was cause and condition and something triggered. But you had started a long time ago in your sansaric journey. Even your kalyana mittas, your family members, your loved ones, all these. So that experience is for only Buddha, Bodhisattva becoming a Samma Sambuddha. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Abhivadana silisse nichang vaddha pachayino chattaru dhamma vaddhanti ayuvannu sukhang balang ayurarugya sampatti sagga sampatti me vacha atu nibbana sampatti iminati samichatu. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu.